kasha. But
Or the
okay.
wine.
Yeah.
Beer without alcohol.
Okay.
It's Medina, but it's not.
So Mark, I don't know if you have to add it anymore to the sheet because now that it's on live stream. Exactly right. Yeah. Okay, fine. So let's see the Mishnah on Chaf Aleph and Al. So we're covering ground, Baruch Hashem. So Mishnah introduces a new parsha of Melech. The Melech, the Torah says in Parsha Shoftim, Lo Yarba Lo Nashim, Ela Shmoyne Esrei. So Mishnah says a Melech is allowed to have only 18 wives. Only. So the Mishnah says, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yehuda says, Marbu Hulo, Ubavad Shalo Yehe Masiros Es Libo. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, you can add as long as they're not going to distract him and cause him to sin. So Rabbi Yehuda seems to be saying that there is no din of Shmon Esrei, even if it's 24 or 48. It's 1,000, as long as you actually gave a good faher and they're tzaddikas, they're good tzaddikisters. So then that would be fine according to Rabbi Yehuda. Reb Shimon Omer, afilu achas umasira es libo harei ze lo yisa'enu. No, if you have one that is distracting or one that lo nashim, so why did the Torah say lo yarba lo nashim? Right? Da afilu kavigail. That even if she's like Avigail, post 18, it's going to be Aser. So meaning Rabbi Shimon clearly disagrees with Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda holds that what? I can go above 18, as long as they fit the bill, as long as they're not going to distract the king, and they're going to keep him on the right path. Rabbi Shimon holds that what? No, even if they're like a tzaddik, it's like Avigail, then I'm not allowed to go past 18, right? But then Rabbi Shimon says something additional. That what? That even and anyone pre-18 has to also fit the bill, and if it's going to be Mesiras Libo, it's going to be Aser. So now here's a big shaila. Okay? If you look at the round, I don't have the copy, I'm just going to say it outside. How do you read this Mishnah? So we clearly just presented that there's a machlokes between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon, whether or not you can go above 18, right? So that's the Mishnah. Machlokes Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon, and as we'll see in a second, this is going to be connected to a Shas sugya of Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon. Actually, maybe let's go see that for a second. Let's see the Gemara first. That this is going to be interlinked to major machlokes Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon about the issue called Darshina and Time of Dekra. Okay? As we'll see in a second, the psukim over here speak about a rationale for the Isser, and that might have an implication on when it's going to be Isser, when it's not going to be Isser. Now, I just want to premise, whenever I talk about Darshina and Time of Dekra, I just want to premise, I want to preface with the following statement that's a big misconception. Chalila v'chas, does the Rebbeinu Shalom not want us to analyze and think about conceptually what he meant with the Dinei HaTorah? That is a misuse of the phrase Lo Darshin and Time of Dekra. You are allowed to be Darish Time of Dekra, and you are allowed to try to find the deeper underlying really drashos and what HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Dorish Mimcha from the Dinei HaTorah, from the 613 mitzvahs, that there's something deeper. There's a Shabbos morning drasha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is also being mechaven to. So what does it mean, Lo Darshin and Time of Dekra, especially in light that we paskin Lo Darshin and Time of Dekra? So this is what it means. Lo Darshin and Time of Dekra means you should speak about the drashas. You should analyze, you should conceptualize what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is being mechaven, is being meramis to, and what is he even hinting to in the Torah. And what is the Ratzon HaTorah. But don't come out with a practical implication based on your drasha. Meaning you should not be koivei halacha based on your drashos. That's what Lo Darshin in Time of Dekra. Because there are those Tanoim that said, no, since this is the drash and this is the tam, and I'm doing derish the tam of the Dekra, and now I came up with this rationale. Now that implies that I can act like this. That is what the Machlokes Tanaim is about. How it affects halacha. So now let's see. L'meimra, the Rabbi Yehuda darish time of the kra. Rabbi Shimon lower darish time of the kra. What's this l'meimra coming from? So it says like this, because the pasuk says, if we read the pasuk, v'lo yarbelo nashim v'lo yasel levavo, right? V'lo yarbelo nashim v'lo yasel levavo. So means that the reason why lo yarbelo nashim is kadesh lo yasel levavo. So comes along Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Yehuda says, Darshina Daim Dekra, you can really have as many women as you want, 1,000 wives. As long as they're good women. As long as they're women that are not going to be Lo Yaser Es Levavo. Meaning, I take the second phrase of the pasuk, Lo Yaser Es Levavo, and that now has implications how to read Lo Yarba Lo Nashim. How many Nashim? Only the amount of Nashim that is going to be Meser Es Levavo. So that sounds like the name of Rabbi Yehuda Darsh Time Dekra. Rabbi Shimon loy darish time of the Quran. Rabbi Shimon was not darish time of the Quran. Why? Because Rabbi Shimon says lo yarber lo nashim means there's a number, 18. Afilu kavigayel, right? And then there's a separate din that even within those 18, if there's a lo yaser levavo, that's also even under 18. So it means according to Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Shimon, there are two lavim in the Torah. There's lo yaser levavo, which is under 18, right? A non-sadekes, and then there's Lo yarba lo nashim, which means afilu kavigayel, 18 is 18, and that's the limit.
Yeah. You're implying that Rabbi Yehuda says if you have 18 that are Meisir Slavavo, Minator, you're allowed to marry them.
No.
Yeah, because Rabbi Shimon says only in 18, even if you have one that's Meisir Slavavo or not. So Rabbi Yehuda would say you can have 18, you can have 19. But 18 could be Meisir Levavo.
Yeah, 18 could be Meisir Levavo, according to Rabbi Yehuda, 100%, right.
But that would make no sense. How could Rabbi Yehuda even have one that's Meisir Levavo?
The reason why, there's no number. The reason why Lo Yarba above 18 is Kadesh Lo Yasser. Means, but as long as I'm not in the category of Yarba, because I'm in the number of 18, so then I could have.
But something doesn't make sense. You can read it two different ways. So what is the time of the Quran?
So that's exactly what the Gemara is saying. The Gemara is saying the Gemara was saying that the Torah was giving a drash. The way you read the Torah is not two separate clauses. Okay. The Torah is saying, why lo yarba lo nashim? Kadesh lo yaser levavo. Says Rabbi Yehuda, kadesh lo yaser levavo. So I'm fine as long as they're not going to be people that are going to be meser levavi. So good. So for the Gemara, this is a big problem. Because if you go through Shas, a few places in Shas, you'll always find Rabbi Yehuda or Rabbi Shimon to be the ones arguing about Darshin time of the Quran, lo Darshin time of the Quran, but it's going to be flipped. The Sanya, because the Brisa says this is the classic example of Darshin time of the Quran, Almana, right? The Torah says that you have an Isser to take a mashkon, to take collateral that you're lending to an Almana, right? Because if you're going to have to return it, right? So then people are going to think that something inappropriate is going on. You're giving back her blanket at night, and you're around her house, then that's going to be something that's going to look bad. Almani bein shi aniya bein shi ashira ema mashkenosa. The Brisa says an almana. Torah says you should not lo sachbol berget almana. You should not take a mashkon of an almana. So the Brisa says, the Tanakama says what? Doesn't matter if she's an ani, if she has no blankets, or if she has many blankets. She's an ashira. Almana is an almana. Basically, namely, loy darshin in time of the kra. We don't distinguish who the almana is and what her situation is. We always say that it's us. Shneimar lo sachbol ber hagamara. Dir Rabbi Yehuda. So that would be Rabbi Yehuda loy darshin in time of the kra, which contradicts our Rabbi Yehuda that says you could have more than 18 wives as long as they're tzaddikas. Rabbi Shimon Aimer, ashira mashkenosa, aniya ima mashkenosa. Means, Rabbi Shimon says, depends. If it's going to be problematic, why did the Torah say lo sachbol beged almana? Because it's going to look bad. When's it going to look bad? When she's an aniyah. She's an ashira, she's going to be fine. I'm not going to have to give it back. So then it's fine. From the fact that I'm now taking her deposit, I have to give it back to her. Now in the shchuna, she's going to have a bad reputation. So it's the Gemara. You see from that Gemara in Bamitzia, Alma Rabbi Yehuda loy darish time of the Kra, Rabbi Shimon darish time of the Kra. So the Gemara says like this, very important Gemara. Okay, this is a very important Gemara within the other sugyas of Darshin time of Kra, because the Gemara flips it on its head. Listen to what the Gemara says. Be'alma, in general, you're 100% right. Like the premise we just had, that when it comes to be Mashkin and Almana, Rabbi Yehuda says, I don't care what type of Almana, Loy Darshina time of Dekra, and therefore, Bein Aniyah, Bein Ashira, you're not allowed to take her beged as a Mashko. Ba'alma Rabbi Yehuda Loy Darish time of Dekra. And by the way, we're not going to get into it now, it's a Machlik Zapaiskim. How literally do we take Almana? What about other misfortune, people that are in an unfortunate situation? Fine. Lo Darish time of Dekra. The Shiny Hacha, the Mefarish time of Dekra. Matam lo yarba lo nashim, mishum de lo yasulav. Oh, says the Gemara. No, our case in our Gemara by Melech is different than every other example of time of Dikra. Yes, there is a commonality between the cases, like I was saying, that you're now taking a tam and you're now having an implication on what's going to be the halacha, more wives or less wives. But the Gemara says, but there's a difference here. And even though Rabbi Yehuda in general says Loy Darshina time of the Krah in other areas, over here he says Darshina time of the Krah. Why? Because the Torah beferish in its words said the tam. Means when it comes to Loy Sachbol Beged Almana, Chazal came up with the reason. That was never explicit in the Torah because the Shechuna is going to start talking. It's going to be Moitzi Shemra about the Isha. But over here, when it comes to the Drush of Rabbi Yehuda, the pasuk in Parsha Shoftim says Lo yarbe lo nashim v'lo yaser es levavo. When the Torah explicitly says the tam, then darshinon time of dekra. That's why Rabbi Yehuda is not a contradiction to his general shita. This Gemara has ramifications halacha l'maisa in other areas. There is I met with a sefer today who's coming in from Lakewood. He wants to get some business here in the community. So halacha is right that the Rosh Paskins, the Beis Yosef brings down from the Rosh, that bizman hazeh, that you don't have to write a Sefer Torah. Many Rishonim hold, and it's kedai if a person can, to be choishish for this, but you can write Svarim, says the Rosh, that you could be yotzei with writing Svarim, buying Svarim maybe, that you could be yotzei the mitzvah of Ksiva Sefer Torah. For those of us that it's not okay, we like quoting this Rosh. It's Baruch Hashem. So the shaila is why. So where did he get that? So the Mefarshim explain, the Beis Halevi explains, it's beferish in the pasuk. Means the Torah says kisvu chametz hashir azos velamda befihem. Means the Beis Halevi, right? The Beis Halevi also writes, this is the reason the Beis Halevi Shag Zariah is very bothered that the Rambam says only anoshim are chayav in the mitzvah of ksiva sefer Torah. So the Shag Zariah disagrees with the Rambam and he says, why? It's not a mitzvah to say shazman grama. Why shouldn't they be chayav? So the Shag Zariah says, no, you'll tell me because just like they can't write tefillin because of ukshartem uksavtem, only one who's a bar kshira can write tefillin. So too we'll extend that to sefer Torah, and that's why nashim can't write a sefer Torah. So that's the Shag Zariah. So let them appoint a shliach like we all do anyways, because anyway, we're all going to mess up the sefer Torah. So let them appoint a shliach, and through the shliach, you'll be mekayim the mitzvah. Shag Zariah disagrees. He thinks that nashim are chayavos in the mitzvah of ksiva sefer Torah. So the Beis Halevi says, no, it's the same drasha. What does the pasuk says? Limud Torah is connected to ksiva sefer Torah. If nashim are not chayavos v'shinantel l'banecha in limud Torah, so then the memela they're not linked to the mitzvah of ksiva sefer Torah. It's all in order for the purpose to be malamid. Memela, if that's the case, that's going to be the reason also why the Rosh could paskim as manazeh, we could be yotze with Svarim, because we don't learn from Sifrei Torah anymore. We learn from Svarim. If we learn from Svarim, so then that's the way you can be mekayim the mitzvah of ksiva sefer Torah. So you see, according to the Rosh, the whole mitzvah changed because of the beferish hakra that said the tam in the psukim, similar to what we're saying in Rabbi Yehuda over here. Another example of this is delaying a burial. Right? You often have situations, we don't want to delay too long, but there's a serious shaila when a person dies, right? And by Netzachama, at least by Netzachama for sure, there's going to be an Isser D'Oraisa, a lav, and an essay. There's a few Isurim. Cover Tikberenu, the Mitzvah we'll learn in the 6th paragraph to Hashem. Loisala Nivelaso, you shouldn't hang his dead body around. So how is it that we delay all our levais? So no, a family's coming in and we're going to wait. So they sometimes wait 1, 2 days, how do they delay the levayas? So the Shulchan Aruch writes, if it's l'chvodo, so then it's mutter. Why? Where do we get that from? L'darshin in time of Dikra. So the pasuk says kikilos Elohim tali, because it's a bizayon to the tzelem Elokim. But if there's something that you would think that he would want, that would be his interest, and you're doing it in order to add more kavod to his honor, so it's not a bizayon to him. So that's also another example of where we're not darshin in time of the kra stamazoi. We're darshin in time of the kra that's beferish in the kra. So this idea of what the Gemara says, that darshin in time of the kra, according to Rabbi Yehuda, is really, he holds in general loy darshin in time of the kra. But heicha the mishkach is beferish in the kra, that it says a tam, so then that's not a classic example of darshin in time of the kra. So you have other examples that are similar to Rabbi Yehuda's shita that would be like this situation of melech of lo yarba lo nashim. Fine. Rabbi Shimon, and the third line, Rabbi Shimon amarlach michti ba'alma darshin in time of the kra. No, I really hold by beged almana darshin in time of the kra. Im kein lichtoiv kra lo yarba lo nashim v'lishtoik. So if so, let it say lo yarba lo nashim, and then be quiet. Va'ana amina matam, and I would have said based on my shita darshin in time of the kra. I know the rationale. So what does the Torah have to explicitly say it? Lo yarba mishum de lo yaser lamali afilu achas mesiris libo hareza lo yisena elamani makayim lo yarba afilu kavi gael. So that's how Reb Shimon came to his conclusion. Shimon says even one that's mesiris levavo, right? That's what the Torah came along to say, lo yaser levavo, right? That's a separate issur, right? So what do I need lo yarba for, right? Lo yarba is to tell me I can't go over 18. Afilu kavi gael. That's Rabbi Shimon shita. So here's the shayla. So in machlokes is Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Yehuda holds that you can add to 18 as long as they're good people, and according to Rabbi Shimon, you can't have anyone less, and you can never add to 18 even kavi gael, because the Torah said two statements, again based off Rabbi Shimon shita in general, that I would have known the tam even if the Torah didn't explicitly say. Good. So here's the question: are those the only opinions in the Gemara? So if you look at the Rambam, I don't have it here. The Rambam in Hilchos Malachim. Oh, I do have it here. The Rambam in Hilchos Malachim. That's not the Rambam we're getting to. Hopefully, we're going to get to that in a second. This is all background. So the Rambam says Gimel Beis in Hilchos Malachim. Let me just read you the Rambam. Tell me what you think. Lo yarba lo nashim mipi Shmuel lamdu shehu lokeach ad shmoina esrei nashim bein anashim bein apilagshim akol shmoina esrei. Fine, we'll get to that in a second. V'mhoisev achazu bal loika v'yesh lo legarish v'lisa achar tachazu shagirish. That's it. That's the end of the Rambam. What did the Rambam not distinguish between? Lo yarba lo nashim. What did the Rambam say? Pi Shmuel lamdu shehu lokeach ad shmoina esrei. No. No hasaras levavim. No distinction. Are they tzaddikim or not? Right. So clearly not like Rabbi Shimon, and he's clearly not like Rabbi Yehuda either, right? Because he said the number 18.
Why is it? Isn't it pasha? You can't. And no one can marry someone who's meisur levavo. So why would the be any different?
Oh, so you're asking on the Rambam. That's your
why
kasha.
shouldn't it be pashtus that you can't marry someone who's meisur?
So I want to tell you, I think the Rambam is hold like this. I don't think that there are only two opinions here. I think there's a third opinion in the Mishnah. Let's read the Mishnah again. Lo yarba lo nashim el shmoina esrei. Rabbi Yehuda imer marbahu lo yubovad shelo yeh mesiris es liba. Rabbi Shimon amar afilu achas mesiris es liba. Arez lo yisenem came laman emer lo yarba lo nashim da afilu kavi gayo. So there's Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon that we were focused on, but then there was a first line. There was a Tanakama. What's Tanakama shita? Tanakama shita is 18 is 18. And it doesn't matter if they're good, it doesn't matter if they're bad, it doesn't matter if they're evil, it doesn't matter if they're tzaddikas. There's a number 18. Nothing to do with anything else. So it comes out, first of all, I'm not sure how Tanakama, and how the Rambam, basically, according to the way we're coming out, that the Rambam passes like this, and this is Beferish in the Chiddushei Ran. Listen to the Ran. The Ran writes, quotes Machlokes Rishonim, over here. Are there 3 Tanoim over here, or are there 2 Tanoim over here? But here's what the problem is. Masizin lo yarba lo nashim el yudchas perish gimel machlokes bedof. 3 shitas. The Tanakama sover bein mesiris Beinin Mesiris Vesulo, 18. Rabbi Yehuda Savar Mesiris Yudches, Ein Mesiris Afilu Elef. Shimon Savar Mesiris Afilu Achas Asur V'Tzidkanios, Ad Yudches V'Yosim Yudches Asur Afilu Kavigal. And then there are other Rishonim that learn, no, it's Machlokes Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Shimon, and what? Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Shimon were arguing on how to explain the din of Lo Yarba Lo Noshim, that first statement in the Mishnah. The problem with such an explanation is usually when you have Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Shimon, other Tanoim that are explaining the first Tanakama, usually you have a statement like Bamed Dvarim Amurim, or you have something that explains that the Tanoim are coming to explain a third Shittas. That could be why the Rambam held like head. But the kasha that I don't have an answer to is, what does the Tanakama do with Lo Yasser Levav? I mean, there is another pasuk over here. And he clearly is not holding what we said, that is Darshin and time and Gra Beferish, right? He says, Lo Darshin and time and Gra Bechla, right? Even it's Beferish B'mikra. So l'chora, what you have to say is Tanakama holds like this. I've been married, or I know the marriage rule. I'm a marriage therapist. I know the king's life. Okay, 18, even if they're the worst 18 in the world, that he can handle. But more than 18, he can't handle. Meaning Tanakama l'chora is holding that lo yaser levavo is to tell you what the reboy of the number is, right? It's going to be a number 18, or what?
Or it's a separate lot. Lo Yasser Levavo, nothing to do with marriage.
So what does lo yaser levavo mean?
A separate lot.
So what's the din?
I mean, the pasuk says has three points to it.
Lo yarba lo noshim.
Lo yasser levavo, that's point 2. Because of zav, it's point 3.
Yeah.
Levavo is Bar Machayim.
These things has the zav. Zav has to do with lo yarba lo noshim. That's a different point.
Could be, yes.
It's just 3 bullet points in one pasuk.
I mean, there's a vav achibur.
Yeah,
And also on the
Right, the chesed also.
But what is the Lo Yasser?
So what would you say like that? So it's just a general.
Maybe, I don't know.
Right.
Fine.
Right.
Could be.
In general,
Right.
stay
Okay.
on track.
Can't involve in certain philosophy with Lo Yasser Levavo.
Very good. Okay, good.
And then the Pesukim later in Navi just tell us what that shear of Lo Yasser is.
Yeah, that's what the Gemara is going to tell us. Right. Exactly. Right. Meaning, how do we get to 18?
So that's not even really. So Lo Yasser explains Lo Yarba, and then the Pesukim explain Lo
Yeah,
Yasser.
we don't know what number is. We know that there's some mystery. When we learn the Torah, we know there's some mysterious number. There is some concept of Lo Yarba. What the number is, the Gemara is about to tell us from Nevi'im. Right. Fine. So jumping ahead, and we're going to have to do a little bit outside over here. It's just a bunch of drushes how we got to the number we had. So the Gemara says over here. Hani Shmoina, it's the fifth wide.
It's right before the biggest wide.
Yeah, very good. Hani Shmoina Sreini Minolan. How do you know that the number, this mysterious number of 18? Dechsiv Vayuladu LeDavid Bonim Bechevron. There were children that were born to David in Chevron. Vayu Bechoro Amnon Lachinoyam HaYisraelis Mishneu Kalev Lavigayel. So now the Gemara is going to go on and say all the different children that David had from his different wives. Eshes Naval Carmela Vashlishi Avshalom ben Ma'acha Varevi Adonia ben Chagis Vachamishi Shaftia ben Avital Vashishi Yisrael La'agola. Eshes David. Eile Yoldu David bechevron. These were the children that were born to all of his wives in Chevron. The Karmelei Navi, and the Navi says to him, Im ma'at v'osifa lach kahena ukahena. So the Navi said back to him that you really could have had more wives. How many more wives could I have had? Kahena ukahena. Okay, like these and like these. So Gemara says kahena, how many did we just list?
6.
Shis, there were 6. Ukahena, and like these,
Times 2 times
is
3.
shis, tahavale, timnasrei. You would have this, kahena, so you'd have 12 more than what you have. 6 plus 12.
Twice and
Twice and
twice.
twice.
Twice and thrice of this.
No, it's just assuming the Kahin is going.
No, the kahena is going back on the 6. That's what the Gemara is going to explain. We'll see in a second. Timnasrei. Maskif lo Ravina, exactly what you're asking. Maskif lo Ravina, Ravina asks, Emo kahena tartisrei, v'chahena esrim v'arba. Maybe say 24. So the Gemara says, you're right. There are some shitas like that. Tanya namiyach lo yarba lo noshim yosem esrim v'arba. So some brises actually held not like our Mishnah, that the magical number is not 18, and you read kahena to be 24. Leman the Darish Vav, then the Gemara continues. The Gemara says, and the one who's going to add a Vav to the Kahina, Ukahina, is going to be what? 24 plus 24. So it's going to be 48, right? Arbaim Mishmona. What a lucky guy. So now you can have 48. Fine. Tanya Nami Hacha, the Brisa says, Lo Yarbon Elasha Yosem Arbaim Mishmona. The Tani Didan might, fine. So what's the difference? So that's the other Brisa that holds it's 48. So now the Gemara asks, so what was the rationale of our Brisa? The Tana Didan, my time, what's his reason? Amrav Kana Makish Kahena Basra Le Kahena Kama. We link the last kahena to the same amount of the first kahena. Ma kahena kama shis, af kahena basra shis. Fine. So just like that was 6, this is 6. So that's the different numbers, 12, 18, 24, or 48. Fine. So I want to skip a little bit. The Gemara goes into a few stories just challenging about Michal's children. Did Michal have children, or was she only cursed later not to have future children, but she actually had children originally? So the Gemara goes on, and then the Gemara goes on to the sugya that I want to discuss right now. So the Gemara says, if you go down to the first word on the line is Mecharker, the Gemara ends off saying that Michal did have children. Ela ema ad oisa maisa hayala mikanva elach lo hayala. Michal had children originally, like the Gemara presented, but there was a later situation that Michal had a little bit of a interaction, a confrontation with David. And David cursed her. From then, she did not, and she got cursed, and then from then on, she did not have any more children. Fine, that's the end of the Gemara. So the Gemara now asks, this is what's Halacha L'maisa. V'aksiv, v'yikach David oid Pilegesh menashem Yerushalayim. So the Gemara says, lemluye shmoinasar, to fill the 18. David took more wives and Pilegesh, but he didn't go over 18, so don't worry. So now the Gemara asks a very important question, and this question is very relevant to even Rashi and Chumash Bereshis. My noshim my Pilegesh is a very important Gemara. What does it mean noshim, and what does it mean Pilegesh? Rav Yehuda Rav. Rav Yehuda Rav said the following: noshim, and I'm reading this carefully because we're showing him a different girsas in this Gemara, which is going to literally change your entire perspective of halacha. Okay, this is going to get very interesting about what is halacha l'maisa legabe Pilegesh. So let's read this carefully. Amar Yehuda Marav, Nashim biksuva ukidushin, having an isha and a woman married to the king that we're talking about right now, that means that she has full-fledged marriage, kiddushin. We did a Maisa Kinyan. I gave her a ring, right? And I have a document reporting all ksuba, or without kiddushin.
Isn't that be a kiddushin?
So, right. So that's one question. So B is only kiddushin. If I just walk up to a pnuya and I have bia with her, we're not married. We need edim, we need amiras kiddushin. So that's not automatically kiddushin. Panay bala pnuya is not automatically kiddushin. So Pilegesh is a woman that now exists with me without kiddushin or without ksuba. Okay? That's what fine. That's what Sabri Shainim learned.
Ksuba is going to have ramifications on the rest of the
So comes along the Ramban in Parshas, I think Vayishlach, where Rashi talks about the Pilegesh of Yaakov, and the Ramban asks exactly what Itai just asked. Ksuba is a takana of the Rabban. So how can that be the definition of what a Pilegesh is, distinguishing it between that and an Isha? So first of all, excellent. So one simple answer is what Mark's saying, is you look in the Gemara in Ksubas and Avyud, Reb Shimon Gamliel's Shita is that a Ksuba is D'oraisa. And where do we find this halacha l'maisa? If you listen carefully, when we read the Ksuba underneath the chuppah, so we'll say the words the chazilech midoraisa, right? That's for Ashkenazim, but Sfardim will not have that. Remember, I had a chassan in Kala, and they decided, they were telling me I was a Masada Kedushin, and they told me that they're getting a fancy ksuba. They want to put it on the wall. So first, what I try to do is I try to explain to the girl what a ksuba actually means, and like this is basically.
You don't put a prenup.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just saying, like, this is talking about if your husband dies, or chas v'shalom, this is not something like. How about you take a picture of the wedding and put it on the wall? Not the. So I didn't convince them. Fine. So they went to the store.
House contract on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. So they went to the store and they bought the ksuba. Gorgeous ksuba. They spent $550 on the ksuba. So they come back and they said, and they look at, and I look, and they said they walked to the store. It was a store that it was a classic bookstore. They said, we want the prettiest ksuba you have. Like we want to really see. So I looked at it. It was gorgeous, very nice, very good. They brought it to me, and I said, this is it wasn't even a classic Sephardi. It was like a Sephardi with all these other things. I said, this is possible. This is you can't have this ksuba. So it was a whole asik to have. I held that they could really take the store to a din Torah because they walked into it's on the store's achrayis to make sure. Wait, what type? The store doesn't know the distinction. They just said,
They could think it's a gift.
That's true. Baruch Hashem. At the end, it was not a simple store. Finally, they got their money back, and in the end, they used the regular ksuba because they said, Mistama, you're right. Like after the whole asek. But that's the nafkamina. Oh, so you could answer like Mark's saying the chazilech deraisa that there are some shitas that hold that ksuba is deraisa. The Ramban clearly was going with the opinion that ksuba is derabanan. So if ksuba is derabanan, so then how are you? And if I know almana, for sure ksuba is derabanan. So how are you going to be mechalik between ksuba? So the emphasis there's a makna. The makna says in kiddushin that he thinks that it's not a kasha. Because if you look at the mitzvah level isha ksuba kedushin, ksuba is a takana of the rabbanon. Ksuba is not a din deraisa. So the answer is no. There is chiyuvim that the ksuba represents. The ksuba is highlighting things and arrangements that we're chayav min ha-Torah. When you speak in the ksuba, okay, not all the details of the ksuba are deoraisa, but share, ksus, va'oina, all those things, those are chiyuvim deoraisa. So there is an achrayis that a husband and a contractual agreement that we have and a certain arrangement that we have. Okay, now it's in a contract midrabanan. Now they said highlight all these details into a takana midrabanan that it's actually on a piece of paper, and then you have a whole ceremony. You read that under the chuppah. Fine, that takana is only a takana midrabanan. But the fact that there is a distinction in the arrangement in the financial matters. The fact that I have to take care of you in certain ways, that is still chiyuvim and an achrayis that exists in the deraisa. So that is a way that you can get out of the Ramban's kash.
And if the ksuba is then lost, then according to that wouldn't change anything.
That's 100% correct. 100% correct. You're chayav mishum. You're chayav anyways. 100%.
Why focus on ksuba then? I mean, who cares?
Why can't you be? Why do we care if it's lost?
No, I'm saying according to that explanation of the Rambam.
Yeah.
Who cares that you have the ksuba? I mean,
Right. Why do we care if it's lost?
Or
Same
in general,
question,
why
same
do you care
question.
if you never had it in the first place? I mean, you have the requirements. This is just laying
So-
out those requirements on paper.
So
What does that help?
100%. So very good. So first of all, number one, there are certain things in the ksuba midrabanan that are added in that are not midoraisa chayav. Fine. And then midrabanan, the Gemara in the 5th parak of ksuba says that an isha b'loi ksuba is asar ba'ala kanida. Why? Because the rabbis looked at a marriage without a ksuba, and they looked at the marriage and they saw it was very flimsy. And the guy's gonna be there tonight and he's gonna be gone the next day. If he doesn't know that there's some contract and there's actually a piece of paper there that's highlighting all this, there's no smichas das. And now, since there's no physical contract there, what is halacha? This guy doesn't know halacha. This guy's never even heard about the halacha. He knows that he signed the contract. He knows that he signed the ksuba. And that's what Chazal implemented in order to sign the contract, in order to make sure that they're not going to have smichas das. Now this is not bias nus. Now,
That's the Rabbanan.
yeah,
If we're trying to
that's an
explain-
Isser Darabanan.
if we're trying
There
to
is no
explain
Isser
why-
Dorais.
No, but if we're trying to explain why the Rambam Dafka says ksuba.
Yeah, so I'm saying what he meant didn't mean the actual shtar of ksuba. It means the concept of ksuba. Yeah, that's what you have to say. Yeah. But happens to be lamaisa. Our ksuba highlights all those chiyuvim, but those chiyuvim are not deraisa. Fine. So that's one way. But there are some rishonim that have a different girsa in the Gemara. Noshim biksuba v'kiddushin, pilagshim kiddushin b'loy ksuba, which I believe is Rashi's girsa ala Torah. Okay, which even strengthens the Ramban's question even more. The only difference between a Pilegesh and an Isha is whether or not there's a Ksuba. But Avada you need Kiddush. Right? Avada you need Kiddush. Fine. Fascinating Vilna Gaon. The Vilna Gaon writes that the Lashon of Pilagshim is from the Lashon Aramaic Plag Shem. Means the Gemara in Soita tells us half a name. Gemara in Soita tells us, it's a good word for Sheva Brachos. Zachu ish v'isha shchina b'neihem, right? So, why? Because ish v'isha, if there's zachu, then you have a yud from the ish and a hey from the isha. So yud k is there, right? Loi zachu, says the Gemara in Saita, esho chlasan. Then they're just going to be left without yud k. Zok the goin. So you know what the difference between nashim and an isha is. You get ksav vav k from the word ksuba. The osios of ksuba is chaf saf vav vez he. Ksav vav k. Zok the goin. You know what a pilegesh is? A pilegesh is a plag shem. It's yud k. It's kiddushin beloy ksuba, but it doesn't have the vav k. So that's what every pilegesh is. It's plag. It's yud k without the vav k. So most pshetels at the Sheva Brachos just end with zachu shchina b'nei. Says the guy, no, I have a safel. You can even have a vav k, and you can have full ashra sashchina. So that word of the goin only works if you have Rashi's girsa. If you have our girsa, there's no word. That's why most of them don't say it. They just stop at the Gemara and Sota, because in our girsa the Gemara it says pilag shim b'loy kiddushin ublo ksuba. So there's no yud k and there's no vav k. There's nothing. It's just eish. But if you have the girsa, of the Rashi, and you have kiddushin below ksuba, that's the distinction. So everyone needs kiddushin. So then that's the goin's vart of having the plag shem. Okay, very quickly. So lamais, the Rambam. There's a lot to talk about in 6 minutes. Okay. Ram Perek Dalet Al Chadalet. So the Rambam is telling us the parsha of Melech that we've been learning. The Chen Loikeach Mikol Gul Yisrael Nashim Upilagshim. He's allowed to take from all of Am Yisrael wives and pilegeshes. What does it mean? So let's stop for a second. I don't want to ruin it right now. Before I do this, I really want to split the order. Let's see the Rambam in Hilchos Ishus. The Rambam in Hilchos Ishus is Perek Aleph Halacha Aleph. The Rambam tells us that it used to be that a man would just meet a wife and no Ma'aseh Kedushin, no Eidim, and Kodem Matan Torah Yadam Pogei Isha B'Shuk, he would bump into a woman. They could be together, and that was Kiddushin. Then the Rambam says that changed, and now you have to do a formalized Ma'aseh Kedushin in front of Eidim with a Kinyan. Fine. Then comes along the Rambam Perek Aleph Halacha Dalet. You have it here on the other side. Kodem Matan Torah Yadam Pogei Isha B'Shuk Imrotza Hu V'Hi Nosim Lascharu Bolosa Al Eim Aderech V'Holichla. V'Zui Anikris Kedesha is a very important Rambam. Mishnitna Torah Nesra Kedesha Shnemar Losia Kedesha Mibnos Yisrael. Sounds like from the Rambam, once the Torah was coming from Aleph Dalet in Halach Hilchos Ishus, just the basic understanding of the Rambam. Leficha Kol Aboy Yishu L'Shem Znus Below Kedushin Lokum Natorah Mepnei Shabal Kedesha. Right? This is a Rambam that every high school Rebbe should know. Every educator should know why. They always ask this question. The question answers. Why is it usher to just be with a pnuya? What's the isser? So the Rambam sounds like the isser Kadesha stouted. Once Nesina Satar was given, anytime a pony is going to be with a pnuya, it's nus. It's a lav minat Torah. Losia Kadesha. The Rambam here is Lishitaso elsewhere, where he disagrees with Targum Unkelus. Targum Unkelus thinks Losia Kadesha is specifically an Eved, a man with a shifcha and an Eved with a regular woman. It's speaking of specifically avodim and not speaking about any panoya bala pnuya. But the Rambam here is talking about a regular single guy, single girl, Jewish, right? We're getting around the Isser Nido, all of the other Isurim, just straight up. What's the Isser? Rambam says it's an Isser minat Torah.
Would apply to the Panoy also?
Panoy, yeah.
Even though it's directed at the Osea Kedesha?
Lo Siyah Kadesha and Lo Yiyah Kadesh. There's also an Isser Lo Yiyah Kadesh. Yeah. Fine. So the Ravid is very bothered, and that's why this is something that shouldn't be taught. But the Ravid over here, and it comes out concluding from the Ravid, that it seems like it's Heter Gomer. The Ravid says, what do you mean? How could Amar Avram, Ein Kadesha Ela Mezumenes, Via Mufkeres L'chol Adam. Kadesha is a prostitute. Kadesha is someone who's mufkeres, mafkir herself, who's mezumenes. You know, she's standing there at the crossroads, like you know, you have, you know, like the story of Yehuda and Tamar, like that. That's the story of Kadesha. But let's say they just want to move in together. Zok the Ravid, ein ba loy malchus. Listen to the Ravid's drasha. Loy malchus v'loy yisser. V'loy yisser lav. There's no yisser. Zok the Rambam, v'hi ha-pilegesh haksuba. And that's the old classic Pilegesh that that the Torah is talking about. So how could you say the Rambam that it's aser? And then the Rambam, ubali alosh and dorshan Pilegesh. Fine, so the Rabbi continues. V'yesh svarim shekosav behen pilagshim kiddushin b'loy ksuba. Oh, so says the Rabbi. I know what you're going to answer me, the Rambam. You probably hold of the other Gersin Sanhedrin Chafalef that holds what? Pilegesh is kiddushin b'loy ksuba. Says the Rabbi. Okay, that's your way out of the Gemara in Sanhedrin Chafalef of Pilegesh. But lamaisa, I disagree with you, la'alach. And then he brings a raya, bam raya. This is a good question to think about. She'im kidvarav, if the Rambam's right, that you're not allowed to be with a single woman because of the lav, and you get malchus because of kadesha, mefata heich mishalim alei amoma, v'haloloke alei, alavadi mishahutzruch lepitoi eno kadesha. Torah tells us that if I rape a woman, a nara, right? Or if I am I seduce a woman, I have to pay a certain amount of money. Chamishim shkalim, right? So ask the Ravid, I don't understand. There's a concept in the Torah we learned, like the first parak, Kim Lib Derabine. If you have two onshin, you have a lav that gives you malchus, and you have mammon on the other hand, so you give him one and you don't have to pay. You get the malchus and you don't have to pay. So says the Ravid, I have a kasha on the pasuk. How could you ever say that a guy, a single guy that's not married, who seduces a girl or who rapes a girl has to pay money? Hello, you should get the Yisr Lab, you should get Malchus from the Yisr Oin Ma'anis and the Yisr Mefate. Must be, the Ravid says, I'm right. Must be that's not correct. And it's only been Fugaris Muvzeres, and this is not a Raya, and the Ravid says, La Halacha, that you're allowed to be with a woman without Kiddushin as long as it's Miuchedes. Fine. And that's the classic Pilegesh. What? According to the Ravid, it's Kadesha. Or it's Kaddish. Right. Okay, fine. But he should... No. It's Lo Yiyah Kaddish. He violated a Lav Deraisa. Yeah. I'm honest, right? Yeah, sure. She's honest. So the Ravid had a way... Again, I'm not going to have time to get into right now a psak of Rav Yaakov Emden, just to whet your appetite, that said Lamaisa that it was mutter to have a Pilegesh. That we're not going to talk about right now. It's for another time. That was not accepted by any of the poskim, but it's just fascinating that he actually, this Ravid was Lamaisa. And the accepted La Halacha is that there is some Isser D'Oraisa, like the Rambam, either this Isser of Lo Siyah Kadesha, or maybe the Rambam also agrees that Kadesha doesn't exist when they're both living together, but the Maggid Mishnah suggests maybe there's a bittul essay of Kiyika Chishisha, that the Torah says you have to do Kiddushin. So any times I'm living without Kiddushin, I'm Mivatal, or I'm over an Isser essay, I'm not over an Isser Lav, but I'm violating the din of Kiddushin, Kiyika Chishisha. There's a lot to talk about in terms of what the actual Isser of a Panay Abal Apnuya living together, two singles together, but the Rambam clearly held that it was an Isser D'Oraisa. But I just want to talk for 1 second because we're running late. But what the Ravid say? How's the Rambam going to get out of the Pilegesh? So the Rambam's going to say what? That it must be that he had a girsa of what? Of Kiddushin. Parak Dalet Halacha Dalet. Can't be. V'chein lekech b'kol gmul Yisrael nashim b'pilagshim, nashim b'ksuva b'kiddushin, u'pilagshim b'lo ksuva b'lo kiddushin. So the Rambam held beferish not like that, and the Rambam held beferish that a Pilegesh is not someone that has any kiddushin. So now I have a kasha. So how does the Rambam read Chumash? Yaakov had a Pilegesh. All these Pilegesh Begiva, even after Matan, there was a concept of a Pilegesh. And yet the Rambam holds the Ravid asked, he must be that he's forced into that Girsa. But the Rambam fears not. I don't know how the Ravid missed this Girsa. I don't know, maybe there were different Girsas in the Rambam. There's an Aleph here, so maybe there were different Girsas. The Ravid, but in our Girsa in the Frankel, the Ravid clearly didn't have this. So we'll have to figure out. Yeah. It's beferish that the Rambam didn't have that Girsa. So what we have to ask yourselves, and I'm going to apologize for taking away your sleep, but Lamaisa, what's very schwer is the Rambam holds these two people can't be together, yet in some way, shape, or form, the Rambam holds that there is a concept in the Torah called Pilegesh. Look carefully in the Rambam, Perek Dalet, Al Chadal, Melachim, you'll find that